Hello, Callum Lincoln here tonight with a narration from an excellent novel written by Buddy Ray. Serpent is one of the most interesting depictions of the end times I have ever read. I highly recommend it. I'm going to read a chapter just to whet your appetite. If you find it as fascinating as I do, it can be purchased on Amazon. When the man offers the job, Clyde Cooper sees only dollar signs. The pay is 10 times what he would have asked. A career criminal with several stints in prison behind him and more friends in jail than out, he's not afraid of returning to jail. Not that he wants to go back, mind you. He just won't let the possibility keep him from this pile of cash. Pushing 65, he knows an opportunity like this will never come again. Still, snatching an infant is far beyond anything he has ever done. He has killed at least a dozen men in his life, 2 of them while locked up, with never a qualm or second thought. This is a big step, and although he isn't one of those religious nuts like that preacher who visited the prison, something inside is trying to tell him to stop. Shaking his head to clear out the vapors, as his dear departed mother often referred to doubt and indecision, he resumes his stakeout of the house. The man who hired him, paying cash in advance, had given the address, date, and time the mother would bring the child home from the hospital. All he has to do is wait and watch. The plan is to rush the mother and child while she's unlocking the door to her house. He'll snatch the child, push the mother inside, and shut the door. His stolen getaway car is hidden in an adjacent alleyway. It has been left up to him how and where he will dispose of the child. The only condition is that he must do it far away from here. Just make sure it disappears, the man told him. Approaching 7 p.m., it's almost showtime. Dusk is at hand, and a few street lights are beginning to flicker along the roadway. Clyde isn't worried about the porch light. His employer assured him it was disabled. He glances at his watch from his hidden vantage point in the hedges, edging the lawn, and nods in satisfaction. At 7:10, a taxi pulls into the driveway, stopping just short of the front steps. Someone leans forward to pay the driver. Then an attractive blonde in her mid-20s steps out and opens the back door. She leans in and fiddles with something for a moment, then stands. Clyde worries the taxi will remain in the driveway until mother and child are safely inside, throwing a monkey wrench in his plans. But the car backs out at once. The mother starts walking toward the house, fumbling with a set of keys. Sensing the moment is right, Clyde springs from his prone position and sprints toward his target. The front yard's soft grass muffles the running man's sound, so the mother doesn't hear his approach. Tabitha Askiel has never been happier. Her first child was just born, and although he does have a minor birth defect, it isn't apparent, so it shouldn't stand in the way of a long and productive life. Taking him home from the hospital is a bittersweet moment. The only thing missing is her husband, John, unexpectedly called away for work. As the owner of bail jumpers, he often tracks down people who skipped court, and the miscreants don't care that she wants her husband with her tonight. Great, she sighs. The porch light is out. It is too dark to see how to insert the key, so she places the baby on the porch for an instant, while fishing a flashlight out of the jumble in her purse. Just as she opens the door, her breath is violently expelled as something slams into her back, driving her into the house. She is propelled into the foyer wall, bounces off, and collapses on the floor as someone pulls the door shut and locks it with the keys she has just inserted. Tabitha struggles to her knees, gasping for air, and crawls toward the door, wrestling with it, terror coursing through her as she hears her baby crying. Horror encases her as her newborn son's cries fade. She is still clawing at the doorknob when she hears a car door slam, shutting off the cries. The sound of a car speeding away leaves Tabitha sobbing, childless, and nearly insane with grief. Darkness descends on the landscape and Clyde Cooper's soul as he escapes with a stolen child. The enormity of his crime is beginning to penetrate his mind, and he knows he has crossed a line. If he gets caught, he can expect a date with Old Sparky, Tennessee's electric chair, if he even survives prison long enough to sit in the darn thing. Prison inmates have no mercy for anyone convicted of hurting a child. The cool air of the evening would be welcome, but Clyde knows he can't risk rolling down the window, allowing the yowls of the squalling baby to escape. The only thing worse than the screaming is the smell. Sometime during the abduction, the little guy soiled his diaper. Clyde has always suffered from sensitivity to foul odors, and the fumes from the infant's overloaded diaper make his eyes water and his stomach heave. The stolen car, now like a rolling dumpster full of dirty diapers and a screeching baby, is a prison, worse than any cell. He briefly considers stopping to throw the foul-smelling bundle out of the car and drive away, but he is still in a populated area. Resolving to hold on until he gets out of town, he pulls his shirt up and covers his nose and mouth, hoping to filter the air enough to avoid puking. Oh Lord, I shouldn't have thought about puking. The picture is too much for his overburdened stomach, and a volcano of liquid rises, preparing to erupt. Forgetting his window is still up, he turns his head to the side to vomit. The chunky remnants of his dinner hit the window with force, splashing back, drenching him in the foul discharge. Unable to do anything except continue, he returns his attention to the road ahead, dry heaving and hiccuping in misery. At least the yowling has stopped. A glance shows the baby peering at him with curiosity. Milky eyes, one pale blue, the other pale yellow, appear to be trying to focus on the rancid, vomit-drenched spectacle in front of him. During his frenzy, the baby kicked off the blanket, allowing a glimpse of yellow, runny baby poo on his legs and blanket. Clyde gags and frantically tries to roll down his window to puke again, but not before seeing the two tiny feet adorned with 6 toes each. Never the brightest in any crowd, Clyde nevertheless considers himself a criminal genius. His long history of failures and jail sentences don't factor into his estimation. Just bad luck, in his opinion. Hoping his luck has turned, he settles in for a long drive. A furtive peek at his hostage rewards him with a now sleeping infant. Please stay asleep. I don't think I can stand any more crying. Although the air is still fragrant, the odor is at least bearable now that the window is down. After absently scratching a grizzled cheek and touching the depression along his jawbone where a bullet carved a furrow during a failed bank heist, his hand returns to his thigh and resumes its nervous drumming. Irritated, Clyde lifts his hand and turns on the radio. Country music has always soothed him, steadying his nerves for the job. A brief scroll through the meager selection of available stations on the old AM radio finds his favorite song, Merle Haggard's Mama Tried, just beginning. The memories evoked by the music soon has Clyde blubbering, missing his mama. The adrenaline of the escape subsides and Clyde can relax a little. Still slumbering peacefully, the infant seems comfortable despite the soiled diaper. Clyde winces when he thinks about how raw his little bottom will be. Can't be helped. Although not a humanitarian by any definition, there is a little guilt at the thought. A faint whiff of wood smoke from a distant fire manages to overcome the stench, long enough to remind him he hasn't smoked a cigarette in hours. Clyde fumbles for the ever-present pack of Camels in his shirt pocket and panics when he discovers it isn't there. Oh man, it must have fallen out of my pocket when I was in the hedges. Consoling himself with the thought that it's only for a few hours, he can grab a pack when this is over, he settles back into his seat. Memphis is now 4 hours behind him, and he is well into Middle Tennessee, nearing the end of the line. Clyde has no idea why his employer insisted on so much distance between the abduction scene and the final destination. He would have been happy to take care of it as soon as he was out of town. Fortunately, a perfect spot is only a couple of hours away. A section of the Caney Fork River near Carthage, Tennessee, has been a handy disposal area for several past jobs. Isolated but close enough to the road that his stolen car can easily navigate the narrow, weed-grown access road. I do hope you have enjoyed this snippet of the remarkable novel Serpent. Get your copy soon.